So excited to be here. So my conversation today, as always, is all about self-care, right? We talk about self-care after any modality that comes up. And for me, right now, hey Jessica, right now, the conversation that comes up is the conversation in my brain that comes up is a belief that is not positive, right? Does that come up for you? And so that is the title of this conversation is my beliefs determine my outcome. Because whatever we constantly put in our brain or we say out loud, we make happen, right? So if we're constantly like, oh, my aching ankle, and I feel like I'm never going to walk again correctly, or I say I'm only on one leg and whatever, like all these things I'm creating to have happen. And yesterday I was just saying like I'm running out of patience. I am tired of the discomfort and that puts me into a different way of believing and creating what's the outcome is, right? And uh another thing that I was thinking of is I'm not in control. Who here like me is like, oh, I am in total control of the outcome of everything that I do, or I try to control everything that I do, right? And then we get so surprised when shit goes downhill and we're like, that is not how I envisioned this to happen. Kind of like when I fell off the bell and broke my ankle, right? I thought I was in complete control. And I got slapped in the face and was like, sister, you're not in control, right? So put in the chat if you're like, oh yeah, that happens to me, raising my hand. So we're gonna have a conversation about your beliefs and how they determine your outcome. And so this is a really good thing because when we go into any self-healing, self-development journey or the workshop on Saturday, like maybe there's a specific thing that you want to work through. Maybe there is a core belief. So that's what we're talking about it today. Maybe there's a core belief that you were handed when you were born that you always heard, like you're not smart enough to do that. You never finished school. Like, what is that core belief that you've been holding on to for 20, 30, 50 years that has up until now kept you not playing big? So you can absolutely put it in the chat. You can absolutely keep it for the conversation Saturday. But yes, Jessica, our words are our spells. Absolutely, right? I totally resonate with that. I totally agree with that. And it is laws of attraction. Energy goes where energy flows. And so when I am thinking, like I was speaking earlier today, that my ankle is not working correctly or like I think it should, not even close to the other ankle, like I have things to do in February and March. And I'm like, okay, so where do I want to create? What other thing can I do to create a different way for my body to show up or for my mind to show up for my body, right? So I get to practice a different meditation, which is telling my brain, telling my body that it's healing, right? And not completely telling my body every day, like, why are you not bending? Why are you not flexing? Why is it not healing fast enough? I got shit to do in March, right? And so this is coming up for me. And so I wrote down, I have been doing, like I said, a lot of work and working on my Phoenix Rising membership and pouring in like core beliefs and what we listen to and where we come from. Hey, Marisol. And so what do we need to believe to create a new way of being, right? And so we get to change that. And Gem can absolutely help you change that script. It can absolutely change that identity for you and help you work through those feelings. So like think about what your core belief that you've always heard or you've always listened to, right? And my core belief that I had as a child that still resonates and self-sabotages me now or brings up I call them gremlins. What do you guys call them? Nerds, gremlins, the naysayers, whatever you want to call them. But it's really the victim story that we sit in all the time, right? It's really a choice, but it's playing in the victim role. So I endured or I didn't choose. I am a procrastinator. I'm not smart enough. I am unsupported. I need to be right because I was always wrong. I wonder what others will think. Like, do you guys ever think about that? Like, I wonder what others think if I say that I love woo things. I wonder what others will think if I go online and teach this generational healing protocol and they don't understand it. What if they don't understand the power of alignment of my chakras? What if they don't understand the power of our mind? What if they don't really believe in the subconscious way of our inner side of us, right? One that's really, really strong with me is I endure for others or for the sake of others. And so this is interesting. So this is my way of I get through something, even though I know it's not in my values, but I do it because I don't want to make other people mad, or I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And so that is like a boundary thing, right? So maybe your core belief doesn't resonate with any of this, but I was just writing about, I just like mind dumped, right? And it's really about other people's opinions, right? Somebody else created this, somebody else spoke these words, somebody else made me feel this way or allowed me to feel this way. I absorbed these things, right? In my subconscious, I absorb them repetitively, and they've created this nerd or this gremlin in my head. When I am working on creating something different, they come in my head again and again and again. And they're like in caveman times when you're sitting there and you're like, stay in the cave because it's dark, because if you step your foot out the door, there's gonna be this saber-toothed tiger is gonna eat you, right? It's just like that. The cortisol raises, you're like, I'm not safe and secure, all these things come up. And that's a lot of times when we do a modality, or whether it's any of the amazing modalities that we teach in here, or an amazing tool that you utilize, you get to figure out where it came from to get to the root of the problem. Where does it come from? What is it? We get to give it a name, and then we get to reframe it. And that's what we're going to do on Saturday. We're going to figure out what that core belief is, what is holding us back, and we're going to get to the root of that issue, who wrote it, where it came from, how we absorbed it, the trigger that drives it, and we're going to release it. So it's not holding us back. It's not anchoring us to the ground. It's not anchoring us so we're not showing up our authentic self. Maybe it's, I'm not telling my story because I'm worried what other people will think. Maybe I'm not being authentic in my business because I'm like, don't think I'm smart enough to speak up in this role, right? It could be absolutely anything. But we get to write our own story, and our belief in our ability absolutely determines our outcome. And that is the laws of attraction, right? But think about, like, what I want to invite you to do is think about how you feel when you're sitting in these negative core beliefs, when you're sitting in this self-sabotage behavior, when you're not being truly authentically you, and you're worried about other people's opinions. What does it do for you? What does it feel like in your body? What does it do for your emotions, for your mind? Does it cause you discomfort, digestive issues? Does it make you hot? Does it make you nervous inside? Does it do something crazy to your heart chakra? Does it give you a headache? Just like think about what it feels like in your body. And that is your body tapping you that something is wrong or untrue, right? That you're living in a lie, basically. And you're not supporting yourself and not loving on yourself like we get to. And so when our body taps us that way, we either listen or it manifests into a bigger issue. It manifests into crutches, that are this beside me, right? My new friends back here. Um, oh my gosh, yes, Marisol, money. Absolutely. I get that. I feel that. I am creating a new dream board, and I have a picture. I'm doing it in like a different way. I have several dream boards that I've created this month already. But it's 8 different pictures of a completely different way. It's feng shui and a bit different way. And one of them, and every single one I had to put a negative statement to, like, so I want to reach these goals, right? In the next quarter. For the first time in my life, I created a quarterly dream board or a vision board. Some of it is like this month, and some of it is within 3 months. And I had to put a negative statement, or what the first negative thought that came to my mind was, and I wrote it down. Several of them were about money, but one was straightforward. I don't have enough money for that. And it was, I'm going to travel to Europe and I'm going to hold a retreat there. And I was like, flat out, I don't have money for that. I was like, yet. Or what is the opposite of that, right? It's not all about the money. It's creating the opportunity and magnifying my international touches, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be about money. It's about creating the opportunity and putting in the energy to feel that it's going to be there. But yes, I feel that money mastery is a thing, and I hired a coach for that, because money is a thing in my belief and in my genetic code. It is trapped in my subconscious to no end, and I work on that in GEM all the time. So it is getting better. I love that. I love that. Thank you for your vulnerability and your honesty there, because it comes up for me in a lot of different things. Comes up all the people around me. My husband, even today, has said 2 things, and I'm like, shake it off, Shannon. Anyway, okay. So how do we shift these core beliefs? And a lot of times we shift them by doing a modality that we have of our choice, right? Whether it's generational emotional mapping, whether it's emotional code, whether it's meditation, whether it's going to therapy, whether it's Reiki, right? All these different modalities is really what I feel is listening to yourself, really being open and inviting to listen to what you need, whether it be looking in the mirror and being like, honey, what do you need right now? Right? Opening up to the divine or the universe, or just quiet and just listening to you, because you know what you need. Your subconscious will tell you what you need. And GEM helps that with that. Absolutely. And all the modalities that we do will help with that. But it's really showing up for yourself in compassion and grace and openness and freedom to receive. And if you're like me, and you guys, you're in here, you're woo, you're loving, you're supporting, you're promoting, because that's who we are. We want to help everyone. We want to serve everyone, right? And so if you're like me, you're like, I will give you everything. I will support you. I will promote you. I am here for you. I will do all of the things. But we do not practice receiving very often. And that's part of self-care. We get to receive. We get to feel loved as much as we showcase love, as much as we share love and support. And so like with the money thing, Marisol, like money is energy, right? Money is everywhere. There is enough money. And the more we invite positive energy, not the negative sign, the positive sign of money, of that energy, the more it will come back to us. I'm not saying spend and spend and spend and spend, and then it's going to come back to you, but we get to invest or hand cash over and thank the cash. Thank the money going out for that bill. Thank the money coming into your account every single day, even if it's like 0.01% in your savings account. You're like, thank you for that 0.01. It's adding to it, right? something that I have done for years is if I find money somewhere, I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I don't care if it's a dime. I don't care if it's a penny. Thank you so much. I will pick it up, and I have a coin bowl where I can see it every single day. And every single day when I see it in my kitchen, I thank it for being there. I thank it for filling up. I thank you for the abundance. And abundance is energy. Abundance can be money, but it can be absolutely anything. Whatever fills your cup is abundance, right? It could be love. It could be money. It could be warmth in your house. It could be absolutely anything. So what I have talked about in different places is when it comes to money, if somebody wants to gift you something, if somebody wants to like give you a gift card or wants to help you out in a certain situation, and you say, oh no, I'm good, no thank you, it's good, you're telling the universe you don't need that or you don't want that money. So I invite you to be open to receiving any abundance, no matter what. I got a gift card in the mail the other day, and I was like, when did I get this gift card? I put it in, or I bought a battery from a, obviously an auto parts store, right? A long time ago. I don't even remember how many months ago. My battery died and I was in O'Neill, and I got a new battery. And I got like, when you bought a battery, you had to turn in, do you ever do this? Because I'm really bad. I was really, up until now, I've not been very good at doing this. You get to turn in this little piece of paper into the company, you mail it, and they gift you money in their store, right? Menards does it all the time, 11% off, and you get this in free money to buy other things there. I've never really utilized that until I got married or until I started dating Tim, because he does it all the time. Man should work at Menards. Honestly, he looks like he works for Menards because he always wears a long sleeve blue shirt, but it's not a Menards shirt. But anyway, he knows the story, the store on the back of his hand, but he always gets the pieces of paper, turns in his receipt, gets money back for that store. That's abundance. That's money in his pocket. That's money to buy other things. Just like in doTERRA, right? Well, every single time I make an order or I place an order, I get 30% back for to purchase another oil. So that puts money back in my pocket. It puts, or it relieves another pressure from my pocket to get more product, right? And so that is abundance. And I think that every time I use 250 or 400 points, I'm like, thank you so much for this ability and this abundance. And it opens up that energy. It completely changes the energy field, because your beliefs about money or about the thing determine the outcome of the money or the thing. And I have been there. I was a single mom for, seems like forever. I was a single mom for 10 years. I worked 3 jobs. I was lucky to pay my bills, or then luckier to pay my bills on time, and then didn't have to have 3 jobs, right? But it didn't start happening for me that way until I changed my thought process. And I worked on my self-development, and I worked on the modalities that I knew to help me with that mindset, right? And it is a process. And again, be open to it not happening when you want it to happen, right? The universe knows when the right time is. And sometimes we get to play like it already is and tell our brain it's already there, right? Money flows to me easily. I make money in my sleep. Like whatever you get to create first, whatever you get to put down on paper, put on a vision board first, will create that item to come true for you. But you get to write it out, you get to visualize it, you get to put a picture on it, and then your reticular activating system will make it happen because it believes it to be true. The more we see it, say it, and visualize it, right? Does that make sense? I'm just trying to keep up with Facebook. Thank you guys for being here. I love seeing faces on here. So what does that look like? Self-development or self-care in this, right? How do I create space or be open and inviting for what I want to be, how I want to show up differently? And so in this, I invite you to write down 4 things that you would like to have happen. 4 things that you want to bring in more of, 4 things that you want to release, forever. You're like, I am so sick and tired of having this thought process about money. I want to get more sleep because I feel like I don't really sleep at night. Sleep is huge. Side note, for your mental health. It is huge for your physical health and your well-being. So sleep is powerful. Sleep is powerful for your mindset. So if you don't sleep, let's put sleep as one of those 4 things. So 4 things you want to bring into you more of, or 4 things you want to release forever, right? And then second step is, because you can determine this, you can be open and inviting, and you put it in the energy field before we work on it, is an intention statement of what releasing or bringing this in to you will create. So if I have shoulder pain every single day, right? So I want to have less shoulder pain, or I want to have 0 shoulder pain. What will this create for me, right? What will my mobility be? How will my patience be? How will I react to my family? How much more can I work out or do with my arms if I didn't have this discomfort in my shoulders, right? That was the first thing I ever worked on in my GEM practice. And when I got certified for GEM 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago now. And you guys, this was massive for me. I had carried shoulder pain for as long as I can remember, and since I was probably 12. All right. When junior high, people were using like Icy Hot and Bengay to rub my shoulders out before and after every volleyball game. And so it was a situation that I remember for almost ever. And I got headaches all the time. I lived with headaches, right? So my shoulder pain affected my everyday life. It affected everything that I did and other people around me. So like, what are the prices you're paying for what you're holding to be true, or what you're believing to be true? What are the prices you're paying? What are the prices other people are paying around you for staying in this energy, for believing this story is what your life is right now, or this story that you're living right now is what life is going to be like in 10 years. And so writing those 4 things down, writing a positive intention, what will change in your life, business, health, relationships, if you were not paying this price and your friends and family were not paying this price along with you? What is that positive intention that you are going to create by bringing this amazing thing into you? Does that make sense? I might have lost you guys. It's all right. So when you do that, you're already in alignment of where you want to go, right? So you can absolutely use these intention statements as I am statements for other work, other self-care, creating a new core belief, choosing into what you want to create and manifest in your life. Or you can absolutely use it on Saturday when we have this workshop, because in this workshop on Saturday, you get to choose 4 items you want to bring in or release. And I will show you how to do that. Does that make sense? Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. So awesome, Marisol. I'm so glad you understand. That's awesome. So we get to celebrate that, right? I am going to walk with you in this process and show you how to be true to yourself and tell your subconscious that you're okay. That child that was sitting in that seat that heard this, felt this, believed this, had this event, lived in this event, you get to go sit in that child's seat and be like, you know what? We are good. We are 50 years old. We are 45 years old. We're 27 years old. And I'm going to sit here with you forever, but we're here right now and we're doing really well. And we're going to do that in an amazing way, right? And self-care for this always is and will always be being open, getting good sleep, be journaling things that come up for you before and after, and drink a lot of water is what we always talk about, right? Hydration, eating good food, getting good rest, being in an open mindset. So maybe that's like in that, like you listen to neural tools, you listen to different beats in your ears, and you relax and you meditate for 5, 10, 20 minutes before you do any modality, right? There is pre-care and then there's self-care afterwards. But you get to be in tune with yourself, in tune with your subconscious, and be open to letting go of what doesn't serve you. Because those baggages that are in us that we're carrying for other people are not serving us. Those core beliefs that we listen to of you're just stupid, you're not smart enough, all you do is procrastinate, you're never going to make money like that, you should never write a book, women don't write books, women aren't smart like that, right? Whatever those core beliefs that you're carrying are not your beliefs. They're somebody else's beliefs for you. They're somebody else's thoughts because that's where they were. That's their story that you're hearing, right? It's their story that we absorbed and they're not serving you. And if you carried them for 10, 20, 40, 60 years, it's time to freaking let them go. And it's time to live free, courageously, creating the choices and creating the life that you deserve and that you're passionate on creating. It's creating a new identity. So one of my identities is I talk too much. I was told I talk too much, too fast my entire life. And I know where it came from because things were happening so fast around me and we didn't have very much time to visit that I was listened to, right? And so just things come up for us and a reason they come up, and it's not to blame or shame somebody else, it's where they were as well, right? We're not going to be blaming somebody else. What we're going to do on Saturday and any other time we do GEM together, this generational healing, ancestral healing, we're healing it for them as well at the same time. So if I'm working on something for myself and say I'm working on money, because I work on money all the time, friends, I do. I want to receive, I want to make, I want to curate, I want to give money, all of the things all the time. So I work on it. And so the beliefs or the emotions connected to that are amazing to me each time because they're all different. They're all different every single time. But a lot of times people believe that people that have money are evil, or having money is the root of all evil, or money doesn't grow on trees. And we can change that story in our head. We can change that story that is in our subconscious. Good people have money. It doesn't make you evil. Women can make good money, and it is okay for you to feel safe and secure and have money. And we get to tell ourselves that, and we get to change that perspective. And so that is really where I think that's where it is. We get to be a receiver of whatever we want to bring in. And to be a receiver is we get to accept the love and support of, and be open to it, wherever that's coming from, whether it's our family, whether it's our friends, whether it's the universe, whether it is happen chance, you sit by somebody and they're like, oh my gosh, I just have this and I want to get rid of it. And you're like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted that. And it's just open. They're releasing it and you're accepting it. There's an exchange, right? We get to be open and inviting whatever we want to bring into us. We get to be open to letting go of these hard, full, heavy bags, even if it's uncomfortable, right? Even if it's uncomfortable. It's not always comfortable to let go of things because it's comfortable, even if it's painful, because it's what we know. Does that make sense? If you're anything like me, like I get to look underneath things a lot of times of why do I sit here for so long and why am I sitting here? And I'm sitting here in this position so long because I get to learn something from it. But a lot of times we sit in situations or we stay in situations longer than we really should, or longer than just really longer than we should, because no matter if it's harsh or painful, it's what we know. And getting out of our comfort zone is scary. And our brain's first job is to keep us safe and secure. And so I invite you to, when you're doing any modality, and if you're with me on Saturday, so excited to see everybody on Saturday, or a personal GEM session or any of my coaching programs that I do, you get to be open to receiving and open to what you can create and being okay drawing that line in the sand, because that line in the sand means you're creating a completely different neural pathway. And creating a neural pathway that you've held on. I'm 44 years old, and so I've held those neural pathways for a long time, some of them my entire life, right? And we get to let them go when we're ready. But you're never going to really feel like you're ready. It's like I'm going to have kids when I'm ready. No one's going to be like, everything is together. I'm put together. The house is ready. I have enough money. I have a really great job. Like nothing really comes together like a controlled environment where you're like, I can totally do this with confidence that I'm going to be ready and I'm going to know everything to do, right? You just go in, all in, and every day is a learning experience and you make it work. You cannot learn to drive from a parked car. So what we get to do is we get to dive in, and it might not be comfortable. It is. Me too, always talking too fast. I know. I just had this conversation with my upline, and she's like, "You just talk so fast." And I was like, "Keep up." That's not what I said, but that's what I thought though. Oh my gosh, hello Zena. I feel sometimes these beliefs can come from. Absolutely. Comparison is a huge game, because a lot of times, like me, I don't feel smart enough because I compare myself to people that have gone to school and graduated like 4 bachelors. I see all these credentials below people, and I'm just like, wow, like they're smarter than me. And something that I wrote, because I did put I'm not smart enough in something here. Hold on one second, because Zena, that makes me bring up. Here it is. What do I do for my career? This is about Phoenix Rising, my membership. Okay. So I help women heal from generational wounds in the Phoenix Rising tribe, right? I don't have enough education to be a coach. It's like, yes, I do, because I've gone through this, right? I have a lot of experience education, but that was the first negative thought that came to my mind. So I got to write it down. And so I wrote down instead, God is my university. And I wrote, my life experience is the exact skills and expertise that will help me lead and guide what is possible for the women I coach. That lands for me. I don't need to go to school to teach people how to heal from domestic violence or from emotional trauma, or from people telling them to believe in themselves a different way than they should, right? Because I have life experience. I'm not saying I have felt everything that every woman has felt, but I still have experience to get from my mess to create my message. And so we get to change that belief and that comparison. And the only person that we should compare ourselves to is the woman we saw in the mirror yesterday. Right? Are you doing better today than you were yesterday? Are you trying harder today than you were yesterday to be a different way, to show up differently for yourself, to show yourself more love and compassion? That's who we need to look to for guidance. Is our intention what we want to create today to magnify what we created yesterday? 1% shift, 1% at a time. Because over time under tension, that 1% shift is going to make us completely different human than we were 10 years ago. And like you, Zena, I am sure you were a completely different woman than you are today, than you were 10 years ago. And we'll be completely different women in 10 years from now as well. Right? We pay money. I'm still paying for my college. Life experience is the best education. Absolutely. Another thing is something that I wrote down today that was absolutely impeccable, life-changing. Let me see if I can find this, because I think it needs to be a new mantra for me. This is, oh my gosh. My computer is touchscreen and I'm touching screen here. Okay. So this is amazing. And this is what I tell my kids, or I really teach my kids in different ways. And I'm going to profoundly write this somewhere. So maybe you guys will resonate with this. It's not about who this resonate with, the whole comparison. It's not about how you fit in someone else's life. It's about who you allow into your life. So that is about the boundaries. That is about what people say. That is about those things that we listen to or we hear. But I'm gonna repeat that again because y'all need to write it down. Okay, I'm gonna invite you to write it down. It is not how you fit into somebody else's life. It is about who you allow in your life that matters, that we need to listen to, that we get to create. Does that make sense? Does that land? Because man, I was like, oh,